Swamiji's Leela. Swamiji narrates moving the Himalaya mountain in Badrinath. I watched the power of consciousness over matter. I was traveling near Badrinath. I stayed at the village called Mana, that is quite close to the Indo-Chinese border. There's a place called Vyasa Guha nearby, a cave where Vyasa lived and wrote Mahabharata, which is the longest epic, still the longest poem in planet Earth. Whenever people came to tell me Mahabharata is a myth, I tell them, relax. Badrinath is a place where Vyasa was staying. I had fortune of staying in the monastery where a few monks were staying and practicing very powerful techniques with the master. I can say all of them were almost on the verge of enlightenment. One person was enlightened. The Guru was fully enlightened, but all others were on the verge of enlightenment. They were just literally playing with the powers of these techniques. I want you to understand now one important thing. Whatever I am expressing now is the truth, honest truth that I experience with my own eyes and senses in my own life. One morning when I was staying in the monastery, the Guru called all the disciples together. All of them were sitting and he was talking about some of these techniques, feeling connected. He was talking from the viewpoint of feeling connection to the whole Himalaya mountains. It was very amazing. This enlightened master was very loving and caring, enough to allow me also in the morning session. He was asking one by one, did you practice this technique? It seemed that only a few days before he initiated them into the technique of feeling connection to the whole Himalayas. They were supposed to constantly internalize that the Himalayas were part of their body. One Swami came and said, yes, master, now I feel completely connected. The master very casually said, all right, then move the rocks off the mountain. Understand, I promise, I saw with my eyes that this monk moved his hand and the rocks moved. It is logically very difficult to believe. Only when you had a chance to live intimately can you believe. I had a shock and really, literally, I was ready to run away from the place. I just got up and got was shaken completely and started to run out of the place. The monk started laughing. The master started laughing. He called me back and said, why are you frightened? For the first time I was seeing a kind of power over matter. I manifest the power consciousness over matter. I have seen small miracles like materializing vibhuti, the sacred hash, and other objects. I have seen those things with a master who initiated me into yoga. I have seen him materialize a conch and other small things. Anything that can be held in the hand. Those things do not need a great achievement. For those things, all you need to do is to see from the gap between your hands should become a living energy field. Then you can start materializing or teleporting. Usually it is the teleporting materialization does not happen. Usually, very rarely I have seen someone creating something. Usually it is only teleporting. I have been to do these things also. This was too much, a huge solid rock just moving in the mountain. He called me back and asked, what happened? Why are you frightened? I said, naturally. He said, you want to see the power of the mind? Just sit here. He told the monk, the disciple, move the rock to hold my hand. Now you move your hand. Just then, very funny thing happened. I moved my hand, the rock came back to the original place. Of course, this was too big a shock for me. Then he told me very beautifully, it is not that only that Swami can do, you can also do. No, Anybody who wants to be part of this connection will be able to move. I am not saying that you need to move the rock. It is just move your hand. That's enough. I am not saying we need to move the rock. I am expressing about this technique only to help you the power of this technique. Today, Avatar initiates thousands of disciples into the Shakti of or power of consciousness over matter. Thousands of disciples moves object with the power of consciousness. So beautifully, Swamiji's first experience, consciousness over matter, is explained. Thank you, Nithyananda.